Hello dear students, welcome to Devika's Commerce and Management Academy. In auditing, we have discussed two classes related to the audit program in depth. If you have followed all these classes in the same sequence, the next topic, very interesting and useful topic, that is audit notebook. Every auditor always keeps some audit notebook, but remember this audit notebook. So, this is maintained by the audit staff, not the auditor. It will be useful for both of them, audit staff and also for the auditor. Audit notebook, notebook. There is a movie, Hindi movie, Notebook. Wonderful movie. If you haven't, please watch it. You will come to know who is the teacher and what are the responsibilities and students and teacher attachment, everything it is there in movie Notebook. It's Hindi movie. Anyway, let's get into the audit notebook. Audit notebook is prepared by the audit staff, and they write different kind of important information which is useful for the audit staff and also for the auditor. Both of them it is useful. So, it is maintained, all the staff members. Now, in simple way, what is audit notebook means? You can say it as it's a diary. It's a diary or a registered, okay? It's a diary or a register maintained by audit staff. It is maintained by the audit staff, okay? And what do they write it in the audit notebook means? Mainly to note the errors, any kind of errors they find, errors, doubtful queries, any difficulties, okay? So, these three errors, doubtful queries and difficulties, they will be writing in the audit notebook. So, this is going to be useful. Now, these errors or doubtful queries or difficulties which may be related to the auditor or client. Sometimes they have queries, that queries can be clarified only by the auditor. So, that is one case, and another case is that sometimes queries or clarifications which are required from the client because not satisfied. So, from the client in any ways, whether it is from the auditor or from the client, they have to note it. So, that is about the to note the errors or doubtful queries or difficulties. Maybe requirement is from the auditor or from the client, whatever it may be, the audit staff is going to note this everything in the audit notebook. We will discuss in depth. First of all, contents of an audit notebook. What do you write it in the audit notebook? Who is maintaining audit notebook? Audit staff. Staff is divided into two parts, senior staff, junior staff, they have to maintain it. So, what are the contents of audit notebook means total 10 points you have to remember. So, the first one is that a list of books of accounts maintained. How many books are there? List of books of accounts maintained. So, that they have to write it. It is nothing but altogether what they have done, the work, systematic work, and during the work what difficulty they have faced and everything they will be writing in the audit notebook, audit staff, okay. So, they are writing here a list of books of accounts maintained and also the names, duties and responsibilities of principal officers. Who are the principal officers? Principal officers means responsible main officers, accounts officers. Who are they? List, names, duties, okay, and responsibilities. Everything you have to write it in the audit notebook, separate page, so that whenever they get a doubt, whom to contact and what is their responsibility can be asked that particular officer or any other officer. That kind of clarification they can get it through this list, okay. And in the same way, in audit notebook, the particulars of missing receipts and vouchers, both, anything is missing, that missing receipts and vouchers. Vouchers are evidence, na? Proof. So, both if they are missing anything, they have to mention it in the audit notebook. And also mistakes and errors detected. We spoke in depth about the mistakes and errors. They find any kind of mistakes, errors separately every day, not audit notebook, so and so date, so and so error, mistake in so and so ledger, what they found it, that they have to mention it, okay. And in the same way, the points required for clarification and explanation. Few points they are not happy, they are not satisfied. So that kind of points where clarification is required, want to have more clarification, doubtful cases, or more explanation is required, not happy, need more explanation. So this kind of points also they have to mention it in the audit notebook. And in the same way, the points deserving, the points, please remember this point, important point, the points deserving the attention of an auditor. Some points I have to bring it in the knowledge of auditor. Those points I will write it in the audit notebook. This is the point, the points deserving the attention of an auditor. I want to draw the attention of an auditor, so that points I will write it in the audit notebook, so that tomorrow I will not forget. Auditor may not be available today, but tomorrow or day after tomorrow he will be available. These points I want to bring it to the knowledge of auditor. Okay, those points also writing in the audit notebook. And also various totals and balances, seeing all the totals and balances. What are the totals? If everything is fine, need not to write. If they find any kind of differences, then that various totals and balances to be mentioned in the audit notebook. And also extract from the minutes and contracts. What are these minutes? Minutes means in any company meetings, the main gist, the main discussion, what went, that is called as minutes, minutes of the meeting. That minutes, list of the how many company meetings happened and what are the minutes, so that list. And also contracts, contracts with other parties, company contracts will be there, na? So that contracts and minutes. So all these things also they have to write it, extract means main points, so that it will be useful tomorrow, right? And also the points to be a part of auditor's report, very important point. Sometimes few points they wanted to bring it into the knowledge of auditor, okay, and some points, these points to be included in the auditor's report. So these points you have to mention it in the audit notebook. After completion or before conclusion of auditing work, auditor will be preparing audit report. So in that audit report, few points, important points he has to mention it. It should be always crisp, clear and understandable. There few points are to be highlighted. Those points you are writing in the audit report. Sorry, those points you are writing in the audit notebook. What points? The main important points which are to be included into the audit report. Those points writing, okay, so that while preparing audit report at the end of the auditing work, we will not forget it, we will remember, because we have written in the audit notebook. And also date of commencement and date of completion of the audit work, when to start, when to complete it. So audit notebook in the beginning, first page itself only they will write when we are commencing, every date wise whatever they found, all these things they will be writing, and conclusion also on the top itself only they will be writing when we have to complete it. According to that they will be preparing. Anyway, please remember that contents of audit notebook is this. These are the main important points to be written in the audit notebook. Now if you see the advantages of audit notebook, these are the main advantages. First thing is that helpful for better performance. Audit notebook is going to work everything perfectly and it is going to guide. So it is definitely useful for better performance. So in audit note, for example, in audit notebook I have written one fraud or error. Same kind of fraud is repeating. So in future you will be alert while doing auditing work. You will be alert, and if you find the same kind of transactions, you are going to focus more on that. So that is why it is going to be helpful for better performance. Easily you can detect such kind of errors which are repeating, and same kind of frauds you are finding, then be alert and focus on that. In the same way, recollection of important points. Audit notebook you have writing everything, important points and whatever you wanted to mention it, all these things you can just underline it, you can use sketches, you can use pencil. So separate tick mark you can put it, so that you will never forget the important points. You will recollect the important points through audit notebook. And also it is helpful for preparation of audit report. Just now we spoke, where is it is here, 9th point, the points to be part of auditor's report. So audit notebook is going to be helpful preparation of the audit report, and also useful in case of assistants are changed. Assistant means audit staff. Audit staff sometimes they may be changing. Say for example, Mr. A was doing auditing work and he prepared already he kept one audit notebook, but due to some circumstances he has to leave the work. In his place B is appointed, but A is going to hand over the notebook, audit notebook to B. So B will come to know what's the previous history. So how he has done, what kind of mistakes, what kind of errors, what kind of important points he has written already. It is going to be a guide or assistance helpful for B in case of change of the staff members. This is that point, useful in case of assistants are changed. Definitely useful. In the same way, detection of errors and mistakes are easy. In audit notebook daily you are writing everything, whatever you are finding it. So future also it is easy, detection is easy, same kind of mistakes. Just now I gave you the explanation, like same mistakes you are finding it. It is easy to detect because you have written in the audit notebook. In the same way, helpful for appraisal of audit staff. Please remember this point. Audit notebook is prepared with lots of struggle and the techniques what they have used. Audit staff, whatever they have used, all the techniques, their struggle, everything is reflecting in the audit notebook. So if you see the audit notebook, you will come to know the work and sincerity and the hard work they have done. So this audit notebook is going to be helpful for the appraisal of audit staff. Audit staff, suppose say A, B, C, D are there. Everyone is kept separate audit notebook. If you see A's audit notebook, you will come to know how he has done everything. In the same way, if you see B, C, D, when it comes to the increment, audit staff also will be getting salaries, they will also get the increments at the time of increments. So how is their performance will come to know through the appraisal. While filling up the appraisal, this audit notebook of these staff members is useful. Their struggle, their work, their sincere hard work, everything it is reflecting. So it will be easy for them to give the promotion or increment of salaries, how much is to be given. So it is going to be work out like appraisal for the audit staff. And last important point is that it is reliable evidence. It is reliable evidence in the court of law. Tomorrow, if the auditor is going to involve in any kind of civil activities or criminal activities, he is involved, then audit notebook is going to work. He can defend himself. He can defend himself by showing this audit notebook. So and so date, so and so time, we have noted so and so particular point. In that way, he can just to defend, he can talk about his problem and for which problem he was trapped. Regarding that, we already spoke about criminal liabilities and the civil liabilities. So in such case, audit notebook is going to be useful. It's an evidence, it's a written evidence. It is going to work like a proof. It is going to defend the auditor from such kind of liabilities. Such an important audit notebook. Are you getting it? Take a screenshot or note down. Hope you are getting a depth information about auditing subject, right? Interesting, na? So anyway, please forward these videos to many students and support our channel, because this channel is for all the students at the rate free of cost to help the student community. Improve your skills, enhance your knowledge, focus more, study throughout the year, and before exam just revise it. You will be the topper wherever you go. Trust me. And support our channel, forward these videos to many students. If you understand any lecture, please give a like and also write it in the comment box your opinion. I will be very happy. I cannot see you directly, at least through the comments, through the likes, I'll come to know how many students are there, what they are following, how they are following, what are their expressions, right? So stay connected, study well, and see you in the next class. Good luck.